We head now to Hong Kong, which is holding elections for its Legislative Council. It's the second poll since the 2021 electoral overhaul effectively eliminated pro-democracy opposition in the Chinese territory. While more than 4 million people are eligible to vote, the majority are expected to boycott the election altogether, turned off by the government's crackdown on the pro-democracy movement. The recent apartment fire that claimed more than 150 lives has further angered the public and is expected to cast a shadow over the election. For more on all of this, we can bring in Kerry Brown, professor of Chinese Studies and director of the Lau China Institute at King's College in London. Kerry, thank you so much for joining us on the program today.
Thank you very much. It's good to be here.
Now, Kerry, these Legislative Council elections that are being held, these candidates, they're pretty much handpicked by Beijing. So really, what's at stake here?
Well, I mean, the democracy-leaning parties, the pro-democracy-leaning parties have either been disbanded or gone underground. I mean, they can't stand in this election. But really, I suppose the key thing is the turnout. The turnout in the last set of elections was, I mean, really low, about 22% of the eligible electors. And remember, that's only for 20 out of the possible 90 seats. So, you know, this kind of very, very, sort of nominal. Most of the seats are appointed by a committee or from constituencies, business constituencies. So it's a minority of the Legislative Council. So really, the main thing is, will this, kind of turnout be higher than last time? From data that's coming in the afternoon, the election is still happening. It doesn't finish until 11:30 p.m. This evening, Hong Kong time. It seems that it's still low. It's about 27%. So that's not exactly a ringing endorsement of these elections, because it seems like over 2/3 of the electorate just stayed at home.
Now, as you mentioned there, Beijing does want these elections to be successful. They've been pressing voters to get out, go to the polls. There's been a lot of campaigning because they don't want a repeat of that low turnout that happened after they introduced these changes to the electoral system. They're trying to get above 30%. So if they don't, what does that mean for China, for Beijing's plans for Hong Kong?
Well, it's about how they engage with voters who are obviously skeptical about the value of the vote, skeptical about the governance in Hong Kong, which after all is dealing now with this huge crisis. 159 at latest count dead in the Taipo kind of flats fire. No one really knows why this happened. I mean, there's obviously going to be an inquiry, but this kind of thing obviously has created an enormous amount of dissatisfaction with the current administration. Hong Kong actually is a place where people have been dissatisfied with their government for quite a while. Most of the chief executives have had to leave their positions early. The current one, John Lee, has a security background. He has said that people should come out and vote. I mean, it seems like not many have. So I suppose it's going to be about thinking through what exactly the point of these elections are and what really their service, kind of what service they achieve. At the moment, the disengagement is very high. It's true there's disengagement in democracies across the world. These aren't really democratic elections. So there's a kind of question about what value they really have.
Now, Kerry, you mentioned there that terrible apartment fire. There was at one point a possibility that maybe the elections would be postponed because, as you said, a lot of people obviously very upset about what happened. So what kind of an impact do you think that's going to have today and possibly going forward?
Well, these kind of things can cause dissatisfaction to coalesce around them. In the past, in 2019, there were significant protests. That's one of the reasons why Beijing intervened rather more, because people do take to the streets. Now, a lot of the ringleaders of the pro-democracy or more activist group have either left Hong Kong or are in prison. Joshua Wong, one of the most famous, still in his 20s, I mean, he's in prison. Many of the leaders, Nathan Lau and others, are abroad. So, I don't think we're going to see the extent of protests that we saw a few years ago. But this is still something that Hong Kong citizens will regard their government as being responsible for. Why did such a huge tragedy happen? What can be done about, avoiding these things in the future? And also the underlying issues about the quality of housing in Hong Kong, the quality of construction, the fact that many people in Hong Kong, one of the wealthiest places in the world, basically, are living really tough lives in very, very restricted and not particularly good conditions. I think all of these come to the fore in this sort of thing. We think of Hong Kong as the gleaming skyscrapers and the great business centre. But I suppose that this really highlights that there's a large number of people in Hong Kong who are
Kerry,
living pretty tough lives.
excuse me for interrupting you there. Thank you for that. I appreciate you sharing your analysis with us, but we're out of time, so we're going to have to leave it there. That's Kerry Brown, director of the Lau China Institute at King's College in London. And